This is James and Cara, and we are Kerouacs Cruising.
We are taking you on a journey, traveling the country with our dogs and finding remote places where the dog
And us
can roam free and play while we discuss life's growths, beauty, and some struggles along the way.
We recommend pairing our episodes with our blog at kerouacscruising.com, where we organize accurate information in an easy-to-follow format, removing all of the conversational goodies.
The link for this episode's blog post is in the show notes.
We encourage you to join the conversation by commenting where you listen, engaging with us on Facebook or Instagram at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Sit back and enjoy the journey.
Good morning. Today, we are going to talk to you guys our must-haves for dispersed camping. So we talk a lot about dispersed camping because that's primarily what we like to do. But we kind of haven't gone over the gear that you need. So if you've never done it, it can seem kind of daunting. So we kind of wanted to go over all the stuff that we think is a must to have a comfortable and enjoyable camping trip. And I think the first thing, most importantly, is probably something to sleep in and sleep on. So that's a tent, whether you're car camping, you're folding down your back seats, throwing an air mattress in, a tent with a mat, whatever it is. The reason why I say this is probably the most important, we did a backpacking trip through the Grand Canyon years ago, and we decided that beer was far more important than sleeping mats. By the time we got down to camp, it was late at night. It was like 8:30 at night. We were exhausted. We settled down in our sleeping bags to go to sleep, and we're sleeping on cold, hard rocks. Thought that we'd be able to do it. It would be just fine, but I especially struggled with it. I froze all night long, and of course, it's uncomfortable.
You can rough it, but you definitely need a tent and a sleeping bag if you're going to go tent camping. You know, this is more tent camping than it is RV camping, or you could even sleep in your vehicle with an air mattress. But some other things that are a must is a table and chairs. That goes along with, everything you need for food and cooking. So with tables and chairs, we usually just bring 2 chairs because it's only 2 of us, and then we just bring 1 folding table. But we have a folding grill, propane grill. We have a smaller propane grill. We have a rocket stove. We have a charcoal stove. So we have many cooking apparatuses. It's really, you're going to choose what's best for you and for what camping you're doing. If you're going camping and you're going to have access to the car, many cooking apparatuses are great. But if you're going to go camping in the backcountry, a rocket stove is the best thing that you can just bring, because then you can just bring like a pot of coffee or a percolator. So you just want to get yourself a percolator, not that you have to put the coffee in it, because we just use instant coffee. But you can, with the rocket stove, with the percolator, it heats up the water fairly quickly. And then they have pans that you can put on top of the rocket stove, really lightweight pans, and you can cook many different things. So we like to bring the propane grill because we like to eat steak and roasted vegetables and grilled fruit. But it all depends on how long you're going camping and if you're going to have access to a car.
Yeah, and of course you can go through a drive-through before you get to camp, whatever, if that's your speed. But we try to cook everything we eat, so having many cooking apparatuses for whatever we need is really important to us.
Yeah, we don't really get food out. We buy the food at the grocery store and cook it. But you could get it out, I guess. One of the biggest things that people make the mistake of is a first aid kit. Now, you're going to go to Walmart, the Best Five or REI, whatever, and you can get yourself a first aid kit. But you really want to choose one wisely, because most first aid kits got some Band-Aid and Neosporin in it, and maybe some gauze and some scissors, which is really not what happens when you're out camping or hiking or doing anything really outside. Most of the things that happen is if you fall, you hurt your wrist, or you twist your ankle, or you hurt your knee. Most of those things take an ACE bandage.
Or bring knee braces. We always have knee braces.
I bring knee braces because I've had surgery on both my knees. I also have a back brace that I bring. But them are the things you need is ACE bandages. So if you're going to have a first aid kit, you need an ACE bandage. I would have some of the blood stop. So if you had a deep cut, you could clot it up really quickly. But if you don't wear a belt, you should have something that's going to be able to create a tourniquet. So them are the things that I think are important. You can buy a basic first aid kit. It's not going to have any of those things. I don't know why they don't have an ace bandage in them, because if you're out hiking, that's pretty much, you need an ace bandage, and you need some heavy gauze, you need some blood stop, and you need scissors, and you need a way to make a tourniquet. So that's my opinion on a first aid kit. Yeah, Band-Aids are fine. All that stuff's fine. But that's not really what it comes down to when you're out hiking or camping and you're pretty far out. So some other things that we like to have is some tarps for, you can just say weather gear. Sometimes we plan a trip and the weather looks good a month out, and then we get to the weekend we're going to go, and now it's got rain in the forecast. Well, we're still going to go camping.
Yeah, if you listen to our trip on the way up here, James did a really great job at tracking the weather. We planned our trip specifically when the weather looked the most mild. There wasn't going to be any snow. And then lo and behold, right before we leave, or right after we left, I think we were at Lonnie's house when we started seeing this weather system come through. There was an atmospheric river coming from the west coast heading towards the east. And so now we had to dart around and zip around and change our plans based on what the weather is going to do. And we, of course, still got caught in some of it. So that's just the nature of it. If you're going to be outdoors, you got to be prepared for being outdoors. Same thing when we did our Yellowstone trip last year. We came through during their dry season and they had an unpredicted rainstorm come through. And the whole time we were in Yellowstone, the whole 2 days, it was downpouring the whole time. And we had umbrellas, we had ponchos with us, so we were able to enjoy it while everybody else wasn't around. So it was great because it's the busy season for Yellowstone. And we got to enjoy all of these really popular spots without anybody around. So you really got to be flexible, make the best out of every situation. And a lot of the time, if you're the one who's prepared, you get to enjoy beautiful places with nobody else around because you're the one who is prepared to deal with the elements. And just keep an open mind, because even through the most miserable weather can be the most beautiful experiences.
I want to backtrack for 1 second on the food and the cooking apparatuses. Make sure you have matches and or a lighter and even a flint. Lighter fluid, because we've gone out and thought we were ready and set up camp and then don't have any matches.
I feel like it used to be one of our favorite things to do accidentally. We've done where we're just day camping. We just show up in the morning, plan on hanging out all day and being back home to sleep at home. And we'd get out into the woods and we've got our food in the cooler and everything. And we got everything set up and we're getting ready to cook, and we realize we have nothing to start a fire with. We've done it dozens of times. So now we just have a box of matches everywhere. We've got them in my purse. We've got them in glove compartments. We've got them in center consoles. Every possible backpack and camping bag that we have, everything's got a match box stored in it. So I definitely recommend doing that, because you just never know. You could be out and about visiting someplace beautiful and be like, you know what, let's stop at Walmart, grab some steaks, and go hit this charcoal grill over here and cook out.
So some of the things that we use for longer camping trips is a screen tent, because it provides shade and it keeps the bugs out. A toilet, and when I mean a toilet, it's really a 5-gallon bucket you can get the 5-gallon bucket toilet seat on it, and then they sell toilet bags at Walmart. So we usually do a bucket. If we're not going to do that, I have a fold-up shovel that I bring, because the shovel's handy for putting out a fire, but it's also handy because you can bury your poop. If you're going to bury your poop, please use biodegradable toilet paper. So we always bring baby wipes. And,
baby wipes, I feel like, is a must. I mean, a solar shower, if you're going to do extended camping, is great. But if you're just doing one night or 2 nights, you don't want to be all clammy and murky, especially if you have husband and wife time, any of that. Baby wipes are just amazing to have to freshen yourself up, make you feel clean. And then they're just handy for every little thing. I mean, you just cooked. How are you going to wash your hands, really? So they're great. I think baby wipes are a must when you go camping.
I also bring an extra 5-gallon bucket and some Dawn dish soap, because you can, fill the bucket up with water. And again, I usually, when we traveled up here, I filled 3 or 4 5-gallon buckets of water. So I had plenty of water. So you do want to have plenty of water, not only for washing dishes, but for drinking, cleaning, and putting out fires.
And for your dogs. It's easy to forget that the dogs need water too. You need to bring enough for you to drink, the dogs to drink, and then for all of your cleaning and fire putting out needs.
And one of the things I put, especially on the longer trips, is I don't really bring wood. I'm hoping to be able to collect wood. So I bring a handsaw and a hatchet so I can cut some wood real quick. And then if it's a bigger pieces, I can split it with the hatchet. So, or just split up stuff to start a fire, depending. That's what the hatchet's good for. So one of the things that we learned going from Yellowstone and around my son's house is where they get a lot of rain is bug nets. You can buy them for like $5, but they do come in really handy if you're doing a hike. You know, we got the screen tent at the campsite, but if you're going to hike around with your dogs and stuff, sometimes the mosquitoes or the gnat flies get super bad. So bug nets are super cheap.
And these just go over
light.
your hat, so they're not like in your face or anything. They're really great.
Extra blankets.
Extra blankets, yes, a lot, especially if you camp in the desert or anywhere that it's dry. Like right now in northern Idaho, it's pretty dry. The temperature swing from day to night is pretty significant. And when you're used to being in your climate-controlled house and your climate-controlled car, you just don't realize how significant that is. And when the sun's not shining, 50 degrees feels a whole lot colder than it does with 50 degrees in sunshine. So I recommend extra blankets. And then, I mean, you just have stupid things like you spilled your water on your blankets, or like Jules likes to lick her feet in the middle of the night until she saturates the bed sheets. Not having a pair of bed sheets to be able to switch out can make it, more miserable. So I think that's super important. And with that, also having a change of clothes, because under the same circumstances, rain shows up, you get sweaty and nasty, whatever it is. You want to be able to change your clothes if you need to. Change your shoes. If your shoes get wet, you need to be able to put on a dry pair of shoes so you don't get sick.
And then some other stuff is when we prepare and we're bringing coolers, we try to freeze the meat, and then we try to prepare our vegetables, whatever we're going to be. So we're not cutting vegetables. They're already prepared. So all we're doing is throwing them in aluminum foil and cooking them on the grill or the fire or whatever we're going to use for a cooking apparatus. So the meat we put frozen because it acts like ice cubes, so it'll take 2 or 3 days. So obviously that's planning, right? You're going to have some food that you're going to need thawed, and then some food, if it's 3 or 4 days later, that you can have in the cooler. It's helping the ice from melting, and then it's slowly thawing as you're going. So that stuff is all important. So you really want to just think about your food prep. And I always try to do food, what we're having each day. So I know exactly when we get to camp what we're going to eat for the next few days. So I think that's important.
And with that, we always bring a pretty good sized folding table. Again, you're dispersed camping. Most of the time, the only thing that's going to be available to you as far as an amenity is going to be a rock ring fire pit. You're not going to have anything at your campsite with the exception of what you bring with you. And the folding tables are great, but they're not super sturdy and it's hard to cut things on. So as James mentioned, having the vegetables pre-cut, I feel like is a must, because it's just not easy to do a lot of prep on not only are they set really low, but they're not sturdy. So trying to slice vegetables is, you're going to lose a finger in the middle of the woods.
And then we always bring charcoal just for the fire, really. You put some charcoal on the bottom of the fire if you're going to cook on the fire. And then you have your logs, but what cooks the food is not the fire, it's the coals that are in the fire. So if you put a little charcoal base on the fire and then use wood on it, it will get really hot and you'll be able to cook food right on top of the fire after the fire goes down. After the wood's almost disintegrated, that's when you want to cook, because you don't want possibly to have anything that's in the wood in your food. So, but that's just something that we do. And then one of the last things I'll say you should bring, you need lighting of some sort. We usually use headgear. A big lantern is too bright for the campsite. I like dimmer light, like the fire pit is really all the light I need unless I'm going to walk to the bathroom or walk to the woods to go to the bathroom. Then I just really use my headgear. That's what I use. But extra batteries for whatever you're going to do, because we do usually have a light in the tent that will be battery operated or solar charging with rechargeable batteries. So lighting, extra batteries for whatever you have for battery operated devices. And rope is for many things. If you have rope, you can put your tarp up over your tent so you stay in dry. You can tarp over your screen house. You can put up a piece of rope to dry your clothes. If you have a rainy day, then it gets sunny. So rope is just really universal.
Works as a tourniquet.
It works as a tourniquet. It's just always having some rope is really handy for many uses around camping. So I always have some rope.
So I'm going to jump in on the light really quick. One of the things that we found, because when you are hanging out outside at night, your eyes become used to the night. And so that's why we say the lanterns aren't that great unless you can get them up really high, because they're shining in your eyes. They actually blind you. One of the things we found is a good medium is actually taking the headgear and taking, the strap of the headgear and wrapping it around a gallon of water and then turning the light into the gallon of water. That water dissipates the light so that it's not so intense, and it actually just kind of is a light glow. You can see all the way around you. It's great for while you're eating your meal. It's not really attracting the bugs, and it's not blinding you. You're able to walk away from that table and still see where you're going. So that's, I think, was kind of one of our great hacks that we've learned over the years.
And if you do stay outside in the dark, and I know I said I wasn't going to say anymore, but you would be surprised how well your eyes adjust.
Red lights are really all you need.
You don't really need, after 15, 20 minutes of being in the dark, you see fairly well. You'd be surprised. So most people think they need light, but you really don't.
Yeah, it actually makes it worse. And
brings the bugs in.
Yeah, it brings the bugs in, and then the white lights blind the animals, so they're disoriented. So really, if you can, get yourself used to the darkness. And if you're going to walk to the bathroom, or you're going to, need to be able to see to walk to your tent, maybe there's some rocks or logs in the way, I really recommend a red light. That's really all you need. Most headgear has a red light setting. It's really ample light. It's all you need to be able to see. And then if you've got bright lights on, you can't see the beautiful stars. You're missing out on the whole show. So let your eyes adjust, get used to the darkness, and it's really not as scary. Trust me.
Get out there, go camping, enjoy the outdoors, do some hiking, do whatever you're going to do. This is just our recommendation. You don't have to bring it all. You can just bring some of it, but be prepared if you're going to go out in the woods, if you're going to go on a long, many-day hike. It's really about preparation and being smart out there. It can be dangerous hiking, and it can be dangerous camping. You're really usually very far away from any phone service or a hospital.
Yep.
You're going to, even if you have one of the other things I'll say is have a radio.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can track the weather. So
weather
I didn't
radio.
have radio on there, but we have a wind-up radio that even if the batteries die, you can wind it up and you can charge your phone off it. So I'm glad I remembered that.
Yeah,
and it's a weather radio, so you can see the radar, and it has an SOS on it.
Hear the radar. Yeah, it'll interrupt you if weather alert comes in for the area. So that's a big deal for sure, because weather is always unpredictable. I don't care how much you stare at the forecast. So that's our basics for typical camping, right? Typical dispersed camping. Obviously, if you're backpacking, your gear needs to be a little bit altered, and we'll do a future episode on that. And of course, if you are RV camping or trailer camping, things will be a little bit different. So this is your basic dispersed camping out of a tent or out of the back of your SUV or pickup truck. These are the things that we recommend. And of course, you want to make sure you hit our blog, because we speak very quickly. We bounce all over the place, but on our blog, we'll have our nice organized list that you can use as a checklist to set up your camping trip, be able to add in whatever else you think you should need. But this is our, over the years, the things that we feel like we can't go camping without.
And then always, don't forget, you can reach out to us anytime, join the conversation, and let us know your thoughts. If you want to add anything to our list that we might have forgotten,
absolutely,
please go ahead. And then if you have any questions,
make it a conversation.
Yeah, just if you have any questions, just reach out.
Love you. Thank you for listening.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Go camping. Thanks for tuning in to Kerouacs Cruising.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
We had a blast recording this episode and hope you enjoyed our adventures as much as we enjoyed sharing them.
For more amazing pictures and stories, visit our website and blog at kerouacscruising.com.
And join the conversation on Facebook at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review.
Your support helps us reach more listeners and allows us to continue sharing our travel experiences with you.
It's a generous favor that means the world to us.
Thank you so much for listening to Kerouacs Cruising.
Until next time, happy travels.